My name is Samantha Joye. I'm a professor of marine sciences at the University of Georgia in Athens, Georgia. I became interested in science at a very early age, probably before I was 5. My father used to joke that the question I always asked when I was a little kid, when I was walking along the beach, is where the water came from that filled my footprints. And I think that was my first scientific question, which I got answered a few years later. I always loved the ocean. We spent a lot of time at the coast when I was a kid, and I started thinking, wouldn't it be interesting to think about a career in oceanography? I didn't think about it very seriously until my senior year. My parents thought I was crazy, but I decided not to go to medical school and to pursue a career in oceanography. When I started my degree program, there were no female faculty, but oddly enough, there were a lot of female graduate students. The female graduate students outnumbered the male graduate students about 3 to 1, which I always thought was odd. You know, back then, I remember getting a hard time from a lot of people, not the least of which was my boyfriend at the time. You know, what was I thinking about getting a Ph.D. when I really was just going to have kids and give up science eventually anyway? You know, that made me even more determined to get a Ph.D. I knew that I loved science, I knew that I loved research, and I knew that it was what I wanted to do. I'm a fairly stubborn person. Once I set my mind on something, there's no keeping me from doing it. I try to instill that determination in all of the young women scientists that I work with, but it's still an issue today. I mean, I've always felt like I have to work twice as hard to get half as far. It's up to women in science to make themselves known. And I think that helps everybody else a little bit and pulls everybody else along.